We will be coming back to our activist on this story, but we're getting some more breaking news coming in. I just want to go across the breaking news we're getting for our viewers. The latest is that India and New Zealand announced free trade deal. India and New Zealand announced free trade deal. PM Modi is speaking to the New Zealand Prime Minister after finalization of the FTA. This is a huge update coming in, viewers on Republic TV. New Zealand and India have struck a free trade agreement, New Zealand said, making it easier for its exporters to reach the world's biggest population, an economy forecast to be worth around $7 trillion by 2030. The agreement cuts and reduces tariffs on 95% of New Zealand's exports to India, with more than half of products to be duty-free on day one of the pact, improving access to India's rapidly expanding middle class. This is what the New Zealand government has said. It is a huge update coming in, viewers on Republic TV. India and New Zealand finalized free trade deal. That means tariffs will be slashed on 95% of exports from New Zealand. The pact is designed to open doors to the Indian market, projected to reach a value of $7 trillion by 2030, viewers. Back-to-back updates coming in, viewers on Republic TV. Until the agreement was signed, tariffs will be eliminated or lowered on 95% of New Zealand goods shipped to India. More than half of these products will attract zero duty from the very first day the deal comes into force. This is what the New Zealand government has said. This is a huge, huge win. PM Modi holds a telephonic conversation. PM Modi holds a telephonic conversation with the New Zealand Prime Minister on this. And New Zealand and India have finalized a free trade agreement, a move which is very, very important to widen access for its exporters to the world's most populous country, one of the fastest growing major economies globally. It's a huge for New Zealand. And the pact is designed to open doors to the Indian market. So this pact will be opening New Zealand's doors to the Indian market. And the value will be reached around $7 trillion by 2030. It's a huge boost specifically for New Zealand's business to tap into the rising demand driven by India's very, very big and expanding consumer base. So Prime Minister Modi holding a telephonic conversation. We'll try to go across to our editors on this to help us understand why this is a significant move which has been made. So tariffs will be eliminated or lowered on 95% of New Zealand goods, viewers. Huge update coming in, viewers of Republic TV. And this is a deal which has been reached. India and New Zealand concluded a free trade agreement deal. And this deal is benefiting not just India but also New Zealand. It's a landmark deal, landmark free trade agreement which has been signed between both the countries. So India and New Zealand have concluded the free trade agreement, offering Indian consumers unprecedented access to New Zealand's markets. And the landmark agreement will eliminate or reduce tariffs on 95% of New Zealand's exports to India, one of the highest levels of tariffs concessions offered under any Indian free trade agreement. Let's go straight across to Shivam, joining us live from our Republic newsroom. Landmark FTA has been signed, Shivam. Yes.
All right, this is a very big development that is coming in right at this moment. India and New Zealand have announced a free trade agreement, and this would be serving as a catalyst for trade and investment. Now, since the US have tried to impose sanctions on many countries, and that has hampered trade with India and USA and many other countries. Now, since those restrictions were in place, India and other countries were finding another routes and more opportunities and more places for trade investments. And India is definitely trying for more free trade agreements. And this is a very big development. As you can see, India and New Zealand announcing a free trade agreement means we have more alternatives when we have such sanctions in place in the near future, or such sanctions which were placed before earlier also. Now, Prime Minister Narendra Modi held a telephone conversation with the Prime Minister of New Zealand, Christopher Luxon, and they have jointly announced. This is a very big development, a very positive development indeed, I would like to say. The two leaders have jointly announced a landmark India-New Zealand free trade agreement. because there are lots of restrictions and lots of things to be noted when you trade between two countries. Now, this free trade agreement is going to help increase the exports and imports for both the countries. So both will mutually benefit from the trade agreement. Now, the leaders have agreed that FTA would serve as a catalyst for a greater trade. Now, this will be tracked by the US authorities also. They are also keeping a track because there's a very big development since they tried to push India to a limit when we would listen what their terms are and we would behave as per what they want us to behave like. But we have found alternative routes, and this is a very great achievement. You can say that the FTA agreement with New Zealand, and
Yes.
you will have greater investment, more opportunities, and this will open a path to innovation and shared opportunities between both the countries. And also, both the leaders have welcomed the progress that is happening in other areas also, like defense sector. It is the biggest sector, one of the biggest sector in the world to trade in is the defense sector. So a partnership might happen in that region also, in that sector also. A free trade agreement would involve and be a part of the defense sector also. And also sports, education, and the people-to-people connect, which we should never forget. It's all about how diplomacy works. And in the Narendra Modi government, he had been focusing on having better diplomatic relations with all the countries in the world. When one door is shut, the other door has to be open by one way or the another. It's a very good welcome step. The way Donald Trump has been behaving in the recent few months, in a recent few days, imposing sanctions, putting restrictions, not just India, but on China, other countries, how he calls even Canada. These all will be noted, and now you can call this as a backlash or whatever
Shiva,
Donald Trump had been
I just
doing.
want to read out, Shiva, I just want to read out what the Prime Minister of New Zealand has also just put on the social media platform X. So I'm just going to read that out for our viewers. I've spoken with India's Prime Minister Narendra Modi following the conclusion of the New Zealand-India Free Trade Agreement. FTA reduces removes tariffs on 95% of our exports to India. Boosting trade means more jobs in New Zealand, higher wages and more opportunities for hard-working New Zealanders. Agreement builds on the strong friendship between our two countries. India is one of the fastest-growing economies in the world, and this gives the New Zealand, or he's calling it Kiwi businesses, access to 1.4 billion Indian consumers. So this is very important to highlight, Shivam, because what we see here is that the New Zealand Prime Minister has said that New Zealand has access to not just the huge consumer base that India possesses, but he's made it very clear, one of the fastest growing economies. He's talking about India, Shiva.
Yeah, definitely one of the fastest growing economies and one of the safest to invest in. When everybody asks, comparison is done between India and China, the biggest question that even I ask to each and every person is, do you want a development that is of the China model? Because there's no democracy out there. India is the Make in India initiative, if you focus on that also. Prime Minister Narendra Modi wants India to grow and everything should be made in India and exported. The made in India products should be exported from India, from handsets, mobiles, to chip manufacturing, to cars, to automobiles, to motorcycles, to whatnot. Now, this reflects the confidence New Zealand has on India. We should also understand that previously also many countries showed interest to invest in India, to open their factories, industries in India. And during those times, Donald Trump had imposed many restrictions on India.
Absolutely. India and New Zealand sign a historic and landmark FTA. We'll be coming back to the story. Let's move ahead, viewers, to some of the